The fifth match of the day between Cuba and Canada, here from the Alexis Arguello Sports Complex in Managua, Nicaragua. There are the two teams on the docket, Cuba and Canada, part of Group B with Nicaragua and Panama. So 3 points paramount to start this group campaign for both Cuba and Canada. Hi everyone, my name is Arch Bell. Glad to have you with you this evening for this opening match for both Cuba and Canada in the Concacaf Futsal Championship. Great to be back at a Concacaf Futsal Championship, the first one since 2021 in Guatemala, and now we are here in Nicaragua. So for the second all-time meeting between Canada and Cuba in a CONCACAF Futsal Championship. The first one was back at Costa Rica 2016, also in Group B, and that was a 7-4 win for Cuba. So 8 years ago in Costa Rica, these two teams will get together again and try to open up this tournament in a positive fashion. Already been a very exciting opening day of the tournament. A lot of goals, and I think we can expect a lot of goals in this one as well, with two teams both hungry to get back to the FIFA Futsal World Cup, which is scheduled for later this year in Uzbekistan. 4 tickets will be distributed at the CONCACAF Futsal Championship. The 4 teams that advance to the semifinals will qualify for the FIFA Futsal World Cup, but everything has to start in the group stage to get there. And so both Canada and Cuba will be keen to do that. So again, great to have you with us on this Saturday. Canada, they're looking to get to their second FIFA Futsal World Cup. Their first was back in the inaugural edition of the FIFA Futsal World Cup in the Netherlands, 1989. They were invited to the inaugural Futsal World Cup, but since then, not been able to get it done. But close call in 2021, narrowly losing a penalty shootout against Panama, while Cuba, they'll be keen to get back to the FIFA Futsal World Cup. Their last appearance coming at Colombia 2016 as the teams make their way out. So our referees as well. Josh Wilkins of the USA, the first referee. Second referee is Manuel Rosario. Third referee is Christian Paella of the US. Rosario hailing from the Dominican Republic. And the timekeeper tonight is Anthony Turborg of Suriname, as these two teams line up to get ready for the anthems. And I think we can expect fans will be starting to pour into the complex here in Managua, with the host nation set to follow this one. So a lot of exciting action tonight. We will pause for the anthems.
Nos mantendremos en pie para escuchar las notas del himno nacional de Canadá.
Good stuff there with the anthems, and we are just about ready to get set at the Alexis Arguello Sports Complex in Managua. Well, Cuba, 4 times the bridesmaid, never the bride. 4 times Cuba has finished as the runner-up in this tournament, coming in 1996, 2000, 2004, and 2008. So 4 times they've reached the final, but have yet to get it done, including the first one, the inaugural edition in 1996. They were defeated by the United States 7-4. Looking at the Cuba lineup, Kevin Rueda, goal, Harold Aguilera, Jonathan Hernandez, Edwin Martinez, and Diego Ramirez, the lone Cuban player who applies his trade outside of Cuba. He is in Spain at Roja. So there is the Cuba squad, coached by Rogelio Valdivia. Look there at the Cuba team and Canada as they are huddling up. Last minute indications. As we said, Cuba, all of their players play their futsal in Cuba. Most of the players hailing from La Habana as their club. Riba Roja, Diego Ramirez, the lone player who is in Europe, and that is a valuable experience when you can have a player get a chance to go to Europe. There's the referees, Josh Wilkins. You see him in the middle, Manuel Rosario, Christian Bahia, and Anthony Turbor, our other match officials. Two 20-minute halves as this one is set to start, and it will be Canada kicking off in their second meeting with Cuba all time in the Concacaf Futsal Championship. And we are underway here in Managua. And as you see, Canada starting things off. As we mentioned, a lot of goals scored already. USA scoring 7 goals in their win. Mexico as well. They defeated Suriname earlier, 7-3. As we mentioned, when the ball goes out of play, the clock will stop. So right now, these two teams just kind of feeling each other out. That's Loic with it. It's intercepted here by Cuba. Early chance for Cuba. That was Jonathan Hernandez with a poke towards goal. And it'll go out for a kick-in from the corner for Cuba. Played back in. Circulate around, and left-footed shot wide. Curling effort here in the first minute from Cuba. Again, there's a quick look. See the throw in, it goes right over to the counterpart. So that was Weir throwing the ball right to counterpart Kevin Rueda in the Cuban net. As I said, the ball is going to stay on the ground. You just don't see a lot of aerial play in futsal. No slide tackling. No shoulder charges. Those aren't allowed either. And here's a kick in. Again, 4 seconds to take a kick in, but play moves very quickly. There's Chamalé for Canada. Push it up forward to Loic. And it'll go over to Cuba. So 3 years ago in Guatemala, it was no fans allowed in that Concacaf Futsal Championship because of COVID restrictions. So great to have the fans back and watching the great action at the Concacaf Futsal Championship. Loic trying to make things happen early for Canada, and it will stay with Canada here in this first period. Early going. As we mentioned, Canada so close to reaching the World Cup in Lithuania 3 years ago. Just nipped in the penalty shootout by Panama. Will be in action later tonight against Nicaragua. Loic plays it, and it's nicely stolen back there by Malov from Canada. Now Canada trying to get something going here. The shot, just wide from Loic. So good rip there from Kwame Loic of Canada. And it goes just wide of Rueda's net to keep it scoreless. Eduardo Martinez, the 10 for Cuba. Plays up to Hernandez. Hernandez. Back to Aguilera. This is Ramirez. And as we mentioned, Ramirez, the lone Cuba player who's in Europe. Here's another look at the foul there. And Ramirez, who, as I mentioned, his club side is Ribaroja Club de Football in Spain, one of the lower divisions of Futbol Sala, as they call it in Spain. And this will be a free kick for Cuba. Still looking for our first goal. Early going. Cuba with it. Here's a chance. And hooked wide. And it'll go back over to Canada. So very active in the early going for Cuba is Jonathan Hernandez, captain. But still really yet to test Weir in the Canada net. As Canada now brings it out. Tabi is into the game for Canada, the number 14. You see him there at the bottom of your screen. Obeng Tabi. And it just goes to show you see a lot of substitutions in futsal, a lot of rotations. Tabi plays it in quickly. And that's number 2, Samir Morsi Mahedin. Also off the substitutes bench and into the game for Canada. Shot here, struck wide. So a couple probing efforts there from Loic of Canada. That quickly played in, so you hardly ever see the goalkeepers on a kick-in or a goalkeeper throw-in ever use the full 4 seconds. That just doesn't happen that often. Nicely taken away there from Canada. Here's Loic with some fancy feet. Still with it. And that'll go back over to Cuba. Loic doesn't like the call. He thought it was off of Cuba. You saw also Yassine Saad is into the game for Canada. So Canada making some early swaps and changes. Same for Cuba. Jorge Gonzalez, the number 4, he's into the game. played up to Dayan Cotillo. And out of play. So early going here, Group B. As we mentioned, Panama and Nicaragua. Panama really one of the stronger teams in CONCACAF Futsal in recent years. Have yet to win a CONCACAF Futsal championship. As you mentioned, Cuba, 4 times a runner-up, but they haven't been to that final since 2008. They've been to 5 Futsal World Cups, including in Colombia in 2016. There's a chance here for Cuba, trying to squeeze it home, is Jorge Gonzalez, and it'll go out of play. So Cuba, their World Cup appearances coming Spain 96, Guatemala 2000, Taiwan 2004, Brazil 2008, and Colombia 2016. Missed out on Lithuania 2021, but hoping to get to Uzbekistan 2024, as a lot of these futsal qualifiers are being played all around the globe. Have some in Asia coming up. UEFA, they have their playoffs going on, and certainly those are very competitive. There's a shot from Gonzalez from distance, blocked. It's blocked by Raheem Rose of Canada. And a foul here, and it will be a free kick for number 11, Dayan Cotillo of Cuba. There's another look there, and some grabbing as Tavi and Cotillo got into it, and it belongs to Cuba. It's Christian Valiente with it, the number 7. He's checked in for Cuba, and it'll go over to Canada. As we see number 7, Abdul Mahmoud checking back in for Canada. 0-0. A couple of good, I'd say, good efforts at goal early on, but nothing really truly on target. A couple chances wide for both teams. Still looking for that real gilt-edged opportunity to score. As a kick in from the corner for Canada, but it goes right to Cuba as Cuba tries to break, and just a little bit too heavy for Valiente. And it'll be number 13, Jalab, for Cuba, kicking it in. Canada, their lone World Cup appearance coming in the very first Futsal World Cup in 1989. They are looking to get back all these years later, 35 years later. Can they do it? Just like 11v11 football in Canada, and the men's game has grown significantly in the last couple of years. You could say the same thing about futsal. Just the development and the resources, the investment. And a lot of these players hailing from Sporting Montreal. So that's, let's say, the foundation of this Canadian national team. As Cuba will kick it in. Taken away there by Canada, but taken right back. So neither team able to string together a little bit more possession. Probably a little, maybe some nerves still being worked out here in this first period for sure. Some pressure here from Cuba, high pressure. Now they got a break, but good work from Canada to win it right back. And now Canada's looking to break, and we'll play it back. But you see right there some high pressure from Cuba that led to a turnover. Canada able to get it right back. And a little bit of physical play there, but it'll stay with Cuba as Mala wins it for his side. Here he is. And that goes out of play. So we have a couple more substitutions coming in now for Cuba. So as we mentioned before, it moves very quickly in the futsal world. Unlimited substitutions. Here's a chance here for Cuba, and a goal! So Cuba strikes for the opening goal of the game. Jonathan Hernandez setting the table, and it was number 10, Eduan Martinez, opening the scoring. Really nice ball in from Jonathan Hernandez. And Edouard Martinez, with a little less than 14 minutes remaining in the first period, has scored. So at the 13:46 mark, Edouard Martinez has given Cuba a 1-0 lead and breaking the deadlock, and now Cuba want more. Here's Weir way off his line. Canada wins it back, but a goal always brings confidence. What a nice delivery from Hernandez, too. And Martinez met it perfectly to beat Weir. Canada, can they respond? That's what they'll be looking to do. But it goes back to Cuba. Here's another chance. It's Hernandez, and it's another goal. So Jonathan Hernandez, he goes from playing the role of playmaker to playing the role of goal scorer. And just a mere 41 seconds later, Hernandez has scored to give Cuba a 2-0 lead. So Hernandez quickly making an early argument for man of the match with a goal and an assist, 41 seconds apart here in this first period. Doubles the advantage for Cuba. And that's Hernandez who goes down hard right there. Tell you what, when you hit the surface in futsal, it hurts. Jonathan Hernandez with the assist on Edouard Martinez's opener, and now with a goal. So Canada, still tons of time to go. No reason to panic. Goal here, and the right back within one. Here's a turn. Looking to shoot, and that'll be blocked away by Cuba. That was Raheem Rose trying to get off the shot. And this Cuban pressure is really disrupting Canada in possession. Oh, nice haul in there, and there's another goal for Cuba. The Cubans are rolling now. It was number 14, Barbaro Alvarez. As you see here, number 11, that was Cotilla, just playing it across, and Alvarez gladly slots it home. And now we have a timeout from Canada as they look to regroup. Started off strong, had a nice start. And that's Coach, you see him right there, Coach Kit Saladopoulos, trying to settle down his team. Just down 3-0. That's a deficit that can be made up for sure. But Cuba, they found their stride here in this first period. It was Martinez with 13:46 remaining, making it 1-0. Edouard Martinez, and then Jonathan Hernandez 41 seconds later. And now Barbaro Alvarez. So in the span of just a minute and 22 seconds, this game has gone from 0-0 to 3-0 in favor of Cuba. So Cuba, after failing to qualify for Lithuania 3 years ago, the World Cup, you can tell on a mission to get off to a good start to try to get to Uzbekistan. Quick throw in there from Rueda. Here's another break, and it'll go out. It'll be a kick in for Cuba. And the ball will still stay with Cuba. That's Alvarez, the man who just scored that third goal. Playing it back in, all the way back to Rueda. And Right now, Cuba with that 3-goal advantage. They're happy to just kind of bat the ball a little bit around, but now it's Canada back with it. A goal here would just be massive for Canada, just for confidence. Get back within 2. As we said, we just saw with Cuba, things can happen very quickly. Goals can rain down in short order. Canada first gonna have to stem the bleeding here and then try to work their way back in and try to answer with a goal. Especially here in this first period, try to get some positivity in the second half of the period. It's Cuba with it though. Shot from distance and slices wide to the left. That was Valiente, whose shot was off the mark. There's Milov for Canada. And ball's taken away from Valiente. Good job there from Valiente, and he's still with it. Beats another man, tries to go across. Decent look there. Now Canada on the break. They got a 3-on-1, and it's going to go out. It'll stay with Canada, but a 3-on-1 opportunity for Canada, unable to take advantage. Played in quickly. Abdul Mahamin wanted a foul there and didn't get it, was Loic. And that was underhit, and now Cuba with the break. Valiente with Weir to beat, and he shoots it wide. Weir comes off his line. Really good job there. Cuts off the angle and forces Valiente to shoot wide. Now here comes Canada. Can they get something going? Nope, swallowed up by Rueda. It's end-to-end action here in Managua between these two sides. Cuba settling things back down. See number 5, Jose Morales. He's into the game for Cuba, and that big frame from Hernandez with his back to goal. And shot wide there, but you see what Cuba's trying to do. They're funneling the play into Hernandez. Hernandez with his back to goal, and then using that, teammates playing off of that. Hernandez with a goal and assist in this one already. There's a pause here. Just about halfway through this first period. Resume. This 2024 Concacaf Futsal Championship. As we said, 4 tickets to the World Cup. You got to get to the semifinals. You get to the semifinals, you're on your way to the World Cup. But unlike 3 years ago at the Concacaf Futsal Championship in Guatemala, because of COVID and so many teams had to drop out, so it was not nearly the number of teams that we have in this edition. And there's a little back heel flick. Decent look there from Jorge Gonzalez of Cuba. No offside. No offsides here in the futsal. That's another important thing to remember. This will be played in by 13 Jelap for Canada, and it'll go over to Cuba. And played up, and that's Hernandez missing it wide. So we talked about earlier about aerial play. You don't see a lot of it, but Cuba choosing to go the aerial route there to play up to Hernandez, feeling confident enough, like, hey, we got a big frame there, and Hernandez will work off of that. Now here's Canada. It's a chance here on the break for Canada, but again snuffed out. Really good defensive transition from the Cubans so far in this one. I've seen a couple times when Canada have looked like they've got a break going, maybe a 3-on-2, a 2-on-1, but Cuba very quick to get back. Back to Weir. Flick upward, but it's taken right back by Cuba. And back over to Canada now. Here's a 2-on-1 for Canada. Great chance for Canada, and saved and snuffed out by Rueda and the defender. So the best look, the best opportunity of the game so far for Canada, and the Cuban defense comes up big. And it looks like we have an injury there. Rueda, it's like in the lower gut. Yeah, that's going to hurt. That's not the type of collision you want to experience, especially if you're a goalkeeper. And we trust Rueda will be okay. It's good refereeing from our head referee, Josh Wilkins of the United States. And back into action. Canada with it. That's Tabi. And the ball will go over to Cuba. So we've seen Canada, that was a great opportunity on that last foray forward. But again, Cuba is so quick to react and to get back in transition and defense. Here's a chance, and kind of hoofed across there. That was Barbaro Alvarez, who scored the third Cuba goal. Tried to hit from a narrow angle, but not there. Long ball played up forward, nicely done, chested, but Rueda comes off his line and swallows it up. And a long ball played up for Canada, but Rueda with his good reaction. As Canada now will go back, it's Yassin Saad. Tabi. Tabi charges forward, looking for a man. He's got a chance, and deflected wide. Really good opportunity there for Canada. It was Raheem Rose. Let's take another look. The turn, and it just was deflected out wide. It's a kick in, and the ball will stay with Canada for another kick in. So Canada creating more scoring opportunities. Still yet to find that goal, though. Trying to split two defenders there, not working for Morsli Mahadin. Cuba with it now. Still with it. And the shot, oh, that came right back across goal. They were looking for Alvarez at the far post. And I think Alvarez maybe got a piece of it, but unable to steer it on frame. Canada able to clear. Here they come, that's Loic. Off his line is Rueda, and he goes down again. This time it was a collision with Tabi. So Rueda, he's been involved in two collisions to start. You saw Tabi, good job from Tabi. He brought it that foot back, so he didn't hit Rueda in the chest. A little just more of a scare there for Rueda, I think. Kind of picked up forward there, and that's Hernandez for Cuba, who was trying to muscle off a defender while get a shot on goal. 6:56 remaining in this first period. Cuba leading 3-0. 3 goals coming in a span of 1 minute and 21 seconds. There's Martinez at 13:46 left in the first, and then Hernandez at 13:05, and then Alvarez with 12:24. Before then and after then, it's been no goals. So a 3-goal spurt for Cuba accounts for all of our scoring. As a little giveaway there off the post. That was Christian Oscar, who pounced on that giveaway and rang a shot off the post. So almost a fourth for Cuba. Oscar missing by a whisker. A little back heel flick there, nicely done for Canada. A chance, and instead it'll go back to Cuba. That was Milan trying to get it on frame. See lots of flicks and tricks in futsal as well. Chance now for Canada. Right-footed shot, saved by Rueda. There's a good rip there from Loic. And I think we have an injury there. That was a Canadian defender who went down. You can hear that as play goes on. Number 6 for Canada with the chance. And saved by Rueda. Another chance, and it's a goal for Canada. So after Montesser had an opportunity blocked, it's number 10, Safwani Mla, who gives Canada their first goal of the game, 3-1. And that took a deflection off a Cuban player. And that fooled Rueda, so the slight deflection off the Cuban defender. And Safwani Mla, he doesn't care. All that matters is that it counts, and it's a goal for Canada, and it's 3-1. So Mla putting Canada on the scoreboard. Badly needed. And really good refereeing as well. There was a foul there in the defensive half for Canada. The referee allowed play to continue, and it resulted in a Canada goal. So Canada, they seem to have found their rhythm now. They withstood that onslaught there from Cuba in the middle of the period and have now clawed back with a goal, and they'd like another one right before halftime. Meanwhile, Cuba, they'll be ruining that chance from Oscar off the post that would have extended the lead to 4-0. So just like that, in the bat of an eye, it went from a possible 4-0 to just 3-1. A kick in now from the corner for Cuba. And Weir off his line to clear it away. And back over to Cuba. So Cuba with the 2-goal lead. They're very patient as they look to try to play into Hernandez, but it goes over to Canada. Chamele over to Mla, the goal scorer. Just tries to tow it into the area. Nothing doing, and it's over to Hernandez in Cuba. Back to Hernandez. Slides it over to Oscar. Over to Rueda. And Weir, the goalkeeper, will pick it up. Saw the counting there from the linesman. Counting the 4 seconds that Weir has. Once he picks it up, he's got to get rid of it by 4 seconds. There's another player down, but he gets right back up. That was Chamele. And now another chance for Canada. It's another goal. It's 3-2. Number 6, Montesser, does it. Montesser from outside the area. And again, just through a sea of Cuban players. I think Rueda might have been blocked on that. And Cuba feeling a little bit of frustration as Montesser makes it a 1-goal game. And now Cuba elect to use their timeout here in this first half as Canada, well, we saw Canada when they went down 3-0, they took a timeout. And Coach Kit, so the Diapolis just said, guys, calm down. Still got a long ways to go. 1 goal. Goals change games. That's the old mantra. So now it's Cuba coach Rogelio Valdivia who's looking to do the same, to calm his guys down, to say, hey, we've been leading this most of this first half. Let's not give it away right before halftime. But really good work from Canada to get back into this. Now down just 3-2. With Mla and Montesser getting the goals. A little less than 2 minutes apart. And now just a 1-goal advantage for Cuba. Is there a response from the Caribbean side? Certainly you see a lot more confidence emanating from the Canadians. So what can Cuba do? They play their possession game, quick passing, but it goes over to Canada. Ball up in the air, and that'll be easy for Cuba to handle. It'll be a kick in. Cotilla up into the air. And you don't see that very much. Again, the aerial game, and Cuba seems like the last couple minutes they've tried to go to the aerial game, and it's not working for them. That time looking for Valiente. They've tried to do that with Alvarez. They've tried to do that with Hernandez. It's helped out Canada a little bit. Here's Chamele. It'll stay with Canada. Tabi. Saad. Loic. Back over to Cuba. And Cotilla unable to control it, and it goes over to Canada. Less than 3 minutes remaining in this first period, so crucial stretch here. Don't want to concede in these final minutes either way, but a goal's going to be a huge thing. If a goal can't be found before halftime, for Canada, you're talking about getting back on level terms, 3-3. But for Cuba, regaining momentum and a 2-goal advantage. So we'll see if there is another goal in this half, in this period. And a whistle, and the ball is with Canada. This will be a free kick. And yeah, I think that's the foul call there. So a free kick opportunity for Canada as Chamele will line it up. See if he takes a crack at goal. So he goes short to the right. Over to Tabi. And the ball belongs to Cuba. As you can tell, the numbers are starting to get into the seats there at the Alexis Arguello Sports Complex in Managua. As the host nation, they will be in action next. Certainly the denizens of Managua getting treated to a really good game here. The 5th game of the day. It's been a busy opening day. 6 matches total on the docket on day 1 of the Concacaf Futsal Championship. This tournament starts today and will conclude a week from today with the final. Costa Rica seen as big favorites. They're 4-time champions of the event, including the last one in 2021. U.S., they've won it twice, including the U.S. reached the final, losing to Costa Rica 3 years ago in Guatemala. And Guatemala, they have the other championship, but that's it. Those are the only 3 nations to have lifted the CONCACAF Futsal Championship. So Costa Rica with 4 titles to their name, the U.S. with 2, and Guatemala with 1. Ironically, though, it's Cuba with 5 World Cup participations, and here's a break for Cuba. There's Valiente. Instead lays it off, and Eduardo Martinez, who scored the first goal for Cuba, he sends it well over the goal. So Cuba, ironically, 5 times they've been to the FIFA Futsal World Cup, but have yet to win it. Meanwhile, the United States, they've been to more FIFA Futsal World Cups than any CONCACAF nation with 6. And that's a foul that's going to be called there. As Loic went down in a tussle there with Harold Aguilera. No, I'm sorry, but it's Cuba who retains position. And a little giveaway there. That Mala, ever since he scored that goal, been very active. Monteser. It was Monteser's shot that was deflected that ended up ultimately falling to Mala to allow him to have a hit and score the first goal for Canada. So Monteser has been very active as well for Canada in this early going. As they try to get back on even terms. 31 seconds remaining in the period, and Rueda saying, hey, isn't somebody going to close Loic down? Because Loic with a good crack at it. And Canada really mounting the pressure here in these final minutes of the first period. The kick in. And Canada, Cuba, they would sign for just getting to halftime right now with a 3-2 lead. Quickly played in. They try to go long and it goes right to Weir, so looks like Canada will be the last one with the ball to end this half. Unless there is a turnover, and there is one right there. So here's a chance for Cuba. Do they have time? It's Hernandez, still Hernandez. The shot, oh, and it's popped up into the air. So a good work there from Cuba on the break. It was 13, Diego Ramirez. He's right there in front of goal, just unable to get it on frame. And a chance here for Canada at the very end, just wide. And that concludes our first period, action-packed. The score is Cuba 3, Canada 2. Cuba leaped out to a 3-0 lead. Canada answered with 2 goals. And still very much up in the air as the two teams will retreat to the halftime locker rooms. But an excellent first half. It looked like Cuba might run away with it, but Canada showing their poise and composure, answered back with 2 goals. And that brings us to our halftime score of Cuba 3 and Canada 2. Alexis Arguello Sports Complex in Managua, Nicaragua, as we get ready for the start of the second half here between Cuba and Canada. Cuba leading 3-2, but it was Canada with the momentum at the end of that first period, and they're going to try to see if they can carry it into this second period. On this first day of action at the 2024 Concacaf Futsal Championship, there have been 4 games played today, and 7 for many is a lucky number, and the lucky number has been 7 today. All 4 winning teams earlier scoring 7 goals. It was USA 7, Trinidad and Tobago 4, Guatemala 7, Dominican Republic 5, Mexico 7, Suriname 3, and Costa Rica 7, Haiti 3. So, will we have our 5th straight game of the winning team reaching 7 goals as the second half gets underway? And needless to say, it is all to play for. Both sides having a good run of play in that first period. Cuba starting off the stronger of the two, but Canada closing in finer fashion. As we are back underway, and Canada looking to break quickly. It's a shot and a save off the crossbar. Really good job from Rueda. And a great crack at goal for Canada. Rueda just kind of palmed it, and it hit the top of the crossbar and trickled over, so it's a kick in for Canada, but a great start for the Canadians to this half. Cuba looking to respond. Hernandez, a little bit of a push there from Hernandez. He loses possession. So Canada almost with an equalizer to start this second period. As you can tell, there's a little bit louder inside the complex here in Managua, as the nightcap will see the host nation take on Panama. And those Nicaragua fans, they always show up, and they are really starting to file in. And they'll also create a great atmosphere here. There's a long-range effort that goes wide. That was from Diego Ramirez. Ramirez, you know, he's keen to get on the score sheet as well. And that's a foul there at midfield, if you will, and it'll be a free kick for Cuba, with Harold Aguilera playing it back in to Ramirez. And Cuba, they had a lot of success in that 1 minute 21 second spurt when they scored 3 goals, but playing quickly, keeping it on the ground, kind of went away from it in the second part of the first period. Cuba asking for a handball there from Canada. They don't get it. Thought maybe it might have glanced off the arm of Loic, but play continues. Here's Cuba now. There's the Martinez, Hernandez, Ramirez. Back to Hernandez, into Ramirez, trying to get a quick shot off. And they wanted a handball there, did Cuba. And instead it's a shot, and it's going to go deflect back out as Cuba maintains possession. So really it was, our goals came in bursts. It was a 3-goal burst for Cuba, and then a 2-goal burst for Canada. Their 2 goals coming with 5:25 left in the first period, and then 3:39, so less than 2 minutes apart did Canada score their 2 goals. As Raheem Rose, he earns a kick in for his side. It'll be Tabi to take it, and sending it to the heavens was Malaa, the first Canadian goal scorer, as the ball now belongs to Cuba. Really even affair in this one. And a shot wide for Cuba. That was Ivan Martinez trying to sneak one in past Weir, but Weir very steady in that Canadian net. If you're gonna beat him from that distance, it's gonna have to be something special. But definitely a lot more confidence from Canada. Again, I go back to the move there from Coach Kit. Saladopoulos just calling that timeout when they were down 3-0, settling down his team. And Cuba actually had a chance to go up 4-0. It was Valiente who missed, and then another shot off the post. Game of inches, and that allowed Canada to crawl back into it. So we were talking earlier in the first half, it's Costa Rica really the big favorites heading into this one. Costa Rica, they were Concacaf Futsal Championship winners. There's a chance for Cuba, blocked. Headed down, and Canada with possession, and that'll be a foul. Since we mentioned Costa Rica, they were Concacaf Futsal Championship winners in 2000. And then 2012, 2016, and 2021. So they've won the last 3. So of these teams that are in Nicaragua, one of them are looking to dethrone the back-to-back-to-back champions from Costa Rica, the three-peat winners, trying to prevent the Ticos from claiming a 4th straight and 5th overall. Cuba, they've been to the final 4 times. Canada have not been to the final. Here's a break for Canada, shot wide. Oh, what a golden opportunity for Canada to level the score. It was Yassine Saad with the chance. Here's Saad again. And it'll stay with Canada. Boy, what a great opportunity there. Have a feeling how the next goal, whichever way it comes from, is just going to be a huge momentum swinger. Cuba would take a nice 2-goal lead while Canada would even things up. Stays with Canada. Credit to Christian Valiente. He's been really active up front there for Cuba with his pressing. Cut down there from the Cuban defense. Gonzalez got long legs. He's able to get in there. Good work from the defender. And that ball will trickle out, and it will belong to Canada. Blah. Over to Chamale. Kick in for Canada. There's Alvarez, number 14 for Cuba. He's into the game. He scored the 3rd goal for the Caribbean side. Able to break through, and a shot ripped into net. It's 3-3. How about that? Loic split a pair of defenders and just hammers a shot past Rueda. Well, Loic has had a couple looks at goal in this one, but he just surged past 2 Cuban defenders, and the body language, well, it all belongs to Canada, as Kwame Loic evens the score at 3-3. So, boy, Canada, you kind of wondered about them when they were down 3-0, but stayed the course, and now here they are. Cuba looking to respond. Good save there from Weir. Eduardo Martinez with the chance. Martinez back with it. Martinez almost snuck that shot in past Weir. To the byline, it goes into goal. Martinez, his 2nd of the day. So talk about an answer. And I think that took a deflection. Yeah, I think that took a deflection off of Law. And Martinez, he doesn't matter who it came off of. So it was 3-3 for just 20 seconds. But Eduardo Martinez is second of the day and restores the 1-goal advantage for Cuba, who lead 4-3. So Canada, all that work to get back even. And then in a flash, it's Cuba regaining the lead as Weir has to clear off his line. Canada on the break. Can Loic do it again? Loic, and it's cleared away. Good job from Cuba. It's a kick in for Canada. Loic, fancy footwork. Good hustle back from Hernandez to clear. So Reda talking to his team, shouting out instructions. So Loic at 15:26 left in the second period, equalized for Canada, but at 15:06 in the second period, came Cuba right back, and here's another chance. Hernandez, left footer, saved by Weir. Ramirez wins it back. Hernandez, and he's fouled there. And no, he is not fouled. Excuse me, that will belong to Canada. Another look there, and it rolls out of play, and the referee says the ball belongs to Canada. 14 minutes remaining. Margins super thin in this one. Just 20 seconds was the score at 3-3. And Eduardo Martinez from the narrowest of angles, with some help from a deflection off of Milan, was able to regain the lead for Cuba at 4-3, but still a ton of time. And Canada have already shown that they're not going to lose their nerve. There's Milan. Tries to go into Loic, not a bad look. Excuse me, that was Tabi with his back to goal. And possession is with Cuba now. It is just kind of chips it over into Hernandez. Need to get Hernandez more involved. That's really been the key for Cuba. When Hernandez is involved, good things are happening for them. Canada doing a really nice job defending, cutting off those passing angles. And when Cuba do have numbers, Canada are scampering back in transition really nicely. Just not able to get anything going. It's Castro. And an easy pickup for Weir. Cuba, 1-goal lead here. 12:30 remaining in the second period. Loic. Into Loic, sorry, that's Tabi. Cuba having to clear it. A little bit of danger there as a player goes down for Canada. It was Tabi. Tabi doing a nice job flipping it to a teammate. There he is again, Tabi with it. Still with it, and it'll go out. It's a kick in for Canada. Wang Tabi. Here into Loic. Nice turn from Loic. Header. Still Loic. Bicycle. Woo. Loic is bringing the spectacular in this one. A nice little move. The header back. The bicycle. That's Kanusi Aylan who played him the header that allowed that overhead from Loic to be attempted. Instead, it went over Rueda's crossbar. But Loic showing the flair that he has in his game. What an exciting player. Plays for Evolution Futsal Club in Canada. Here's Cuba on the break. Valiente with a right footer. Forces a save out of Weir. Valiente's yet to find the score sheet. Eduardo Martinez with 2. Jonathan Hernandez with a goal, and Barbaro Alvarez with a goal. Those are your goal scorers for Cuba. That's Alvarez. Valiente. Still Valiente. Left footer with the cross, and it'll go out to Canada. Canada, meanwhile, Mla, Monteser, and Loic, the 3 goal scorers of the Canadians. With 11:02 remaining in the second period. Canada, for the second time today, trying to get back on level terms. Obviously, they started 0-0, but then down 3-0. They were able to get back to 3-3, but that only lasted for 20 seconds. Nice work there from Saad. Stays with Canada. Plays it quickly. Chamalade. That's Aylan. And it will stay with Canada. Monteser, he'll play back into Chamalade. A little bit of grabbing there on the jersey. Things getting a little chippy, a little physical. Monteser not appreciating that. Excuse me, that was Aylan. Monteser. Good work here from Canada. Chamalade. Still looking for a man. And Cuba clinging to that 1-goal lead. Less than 10 minutes to go now, as we're basically into the 4th segment of the game. And looking for the break here. Here's Cuba, 2-on-1. Alvaro, oh, nicely done there. It's a goal. Goal for Cuba. Jorge Gonzalez. Gonzalez started it with a takeaway and played a really nice 1-2 combination with Alvarez. And the easy sweep into net for Jorge Gonzalez with 9:40 remaining. To give Cuba a 5-3 lead. Alvarez with the assist. So Alvarez, like Hernandez, has a goal and an assist on the game. Eduardo Martinez has 2 goals. So that's where you're seeing a lot of the creation, the playmaking coming for Cuba, those 3 players. But on that last one, it was Jorge Gonzalez, those long legs. Little give and go action with Alvarez to hand Cuba a 2-goal lead. And can they get to 7, the lucky 7? That has been the lucky number today at the Concacaf Futsal Championship. All 4 winners on the day thus far have reached the 7-goal plateau in their victories. Here's another chance for Cuba, and over the bar goes Eduardo Martinez. Cuba broke quickly, and Martinez with another good look at goal. It would have been his 3rd of the day. Instead, he sends it over the crossbar. So Canada worked so hard to get back to 3-3, but now down 2. Can they get back to 5-5? Abdul Mahmoud, he plays it quickly. And there's a goal for Canada. Law does it That's his second of the day. And you see here, good turn, right footer, and beats the sprawled out Rueda just inside that far post. So it's 5-4. Juan Martinez missing a chance over the bar, which would have made it 6-3 to Cuba, but now instead, Mala scores his second of the night, and it's 5-4. So really heading for a showdown finish here in Managua in this game. Appreciate all of you tuning in from around the Concacaf region and beyond. Canada looking to play quickly there, and it'll go out. Canada with it. Can they get back to 5-5? There's a chance. Tavi. Back to Tavi. Playing with Milan. A little chip. Looking for Loic. That's not going to do it, but it plays right back to Canada. 2-on-2. Loic. Still Loic. And out. And that shot just wide from Canada. Looked like, I think that was number 7 for Canada. That was Abdullah Hameen, excuse me, with the chance. Goes wide. And as we mentioned today, the final score 7-4, 7-5, 7-3, 7-3. Right now we've got a 5-4. So could quite well end up with our closest match of the day. Less than 8 minutes remaining. Cuba happy to play the possession game. Canada, they're going to have to start taking some risks here, pouring some numbers forward, if you will. And there's a chance over the bar. Mala looking for his third of the day. Goes over to Cuba. Canada with it again, though. Here comes the Canadians. Tabi dispossessed. Back now for Cuba. And they will play it back to Morales there. Jose Morales. Over to Gonzalez. He's trying to find Alvarez. The pass cut down by Canada. You look at a player like number 4, Jorge Gonzalez, just that's got those long legs, very effective defender. And also showed that he can score a goal. He got forward and scored the 5th goal of the evening for Cuba. Monteser. Long. Still Monteser. And it'll go in. It'll be a kick in for Canada. Yassine Saad over there. He'll play it back in. Turn over to Cuba. It's Morales. Still Morales. Morales goes down from behind, and they will call a foul. So it's been a pretty clean game so far. Not too many fouls called in this one, but in that instance, it's Chamale fouling Morales from behind. So you'll see a free kick here for Cuba, and all signs pointing toward Eduan Martinez to take it, looking for his third of the night. Here's the rip, and saved by Weir. It'll stay with Cuba. Martinez again. Back to Gonzalez. Up forward, and it just rolls harmlessly to Weir, who plays it right back in. What can Canada do? 6 minutes to go. There's Canada coach Kit Saladopoulos. Gonzalez, Alvarez, Morales. You're not going to see Cuba force anything, especially as time continues to tick away. The clock's on their side, but you can't give it away like that. Here's Canada with a chance. Saad tries to go to Monteser. You can tell Monteser and Saad, they wanted to play a quick combination. It yields a kick in, though, from the corner. Loic. He's shown that he's got that big strike ability. Can he do it again? It's going to be turned over. Now here's Cuba with a chance. Martinez snuffed out by Weir. Good work there from Callum Weir. Comes off his line. Does not allow Eduardo Martinez to get off a clean effort. Morales. That effort's deflected. Hernandez is back in the game. Hernandez left-footed over the goal. You can tell there's a lot more noise inside the arena. The Alexis Arguello Sports Complex in Managua. Of course, named in tribute of the great boxer. The other game in Group B will get started, and there's a chance for Canada. That was Loic, I think. Yes, sir, it was Loic, but missing just wide. Panama, Nicaragua, the other game in Group B. This is the first game to be played in Group B. And right now, it's Cuba clinging to a 5-4 lead. But still plenty of time left for Canada to try to get back level. Last score coming with 8:53 remaining in the period. That was Mala, who brought them to 5-4 after Gonzalez had given Cuba a 5-3 lead. Here's a chance now for Canada. The shot saved. Rueda, big stop. Massive stop. Another look, Loic. Just gets such pace on his shot, such strength. And Rueda's hit the ground many times. It's been an adventurous day for Rueda in the Cuba goal. A couple collisions, hitting the floor. Very active. Canada on the hunt for that equalizer. Loic again, right footer, goal! Yes, sir. Arms forward. It's 5-5. Loic with 4:07 remaining. Loic has made it 5-5. And just absolutely hammers a right-footed shot in past Rueda. So Loic has just become a force in this second period. 2 goals, and really the most dangerous man out there on the court. And there's another chance for Canada. As what will happen in these final 4 minutes remains to be seen. As the two teams will take a timeout here. Pivotal moment in this one for sure. It's what you want. You don't want to settle for a draw. You want the full 3 points. As in here in the group stage, it doesn't happen that often. In the 2021 edition, U.S. and El Salvador played to a 1-1 draw in a group stage affair. In the quarterfinals, you had a pair of games end in draws and had to be settled in penalty shootouts. Guatemala edging El Salvador, while this Canada team were defeated by Panama in a shootout. So, but that's at the quarterfinal stage. It's still a long ways off. Group stage, right now we're looking at a share of the points, but no doubt either side would be keen to get all three here. Especially, you have to think for Cuba. Cuba have been basically leading this game almost the entire time. But Canada have continued to fight. Down 3-0, they got it back to 3-3. Then went back down 5-3. Now they've worked it back to 5-5. Is there a winner in this one? We'll know in a little less than 4 minutes of playing time. Kick in for Canada. Tabi. Still Tabi. And Tabi goes down. And the ball will belong to Cuba, so let's take another look there. And yeah, Tabi just going down, but the referee says that the possession belongs to Cuba. So Loic with 2 on the day, and Mla with 2 on the day for Canada. It was Montesser accounting for the other Canada goal. Well, for Cuba, Martinez with 2, Hernandez, Alvarez, and Gonzalez. Canada with it now. Stays with Canada. Loic to kick it in. Lopez Suarez with it. Over to Loic. He's able to get past one. Still finding his way. Gets it past another. Oh, what a chance! Oh, Loic. He beat 2 defenders. Plays it over to Tabi. The ball across, and you had to think Loic thought that was the goal-ahead goal. It was played a little bit behind him, but still able to get his foot on it. Rueda with the save. What an enormous stop from Rueda. But Loic has just been wreaking havoc on this Cuban defense, especially in the second half. Here he is, and it's taken away. Cuba, still Cuba, the shot, and deflected wide. Harold Aguilera wanted that one badly. He took it off of Loic and broke quickly. His shot, though, was deflected away by Weir. Less than 3 minutes now. Pressure has been ratcheted up. And there's a chance for Cuba, still with it. That's Alvarez, he goes down. No penalty called, play on. Every pass now, so crucial. And Lopez Suarez is trying to maybe sneak one past Rueda. Rueda was there to make the save. Aguilera, he loses the ball. And it'll finally go over to Canada. 2 minutes remaining. And you have to think at this stage, especially if we see a goal in this next minute, that most likely will serve as the winning score. Still time left, but now every single touch, every single pass of utmost importance. Canada, can they find the late winner and take their first lead of the entire night on it? And it will be a free kick in favor of Canada. Ramirez getting called for the foul. And a heck of an opportunity now for the Canadians. As Loic and Saad. Kwame Loic. Right footer, saved by Rueda. And I don't know how much he knew about it. What a reaction save from Rueda. Loic absolutely blistered that one. And now here's Hernandez trying to win it for Cuba, and he does. $1:14 left, 5-5, Cuba, Canada. Opening match of Group B. Ramirez plays it in to his own half. Played long by Gonzalez, looking for Hernandez. It stays with Cuba. Hernandez will be the one to kick it in. No, excuse me. That's going to be Dayan Cotilla into the game. He will play it in. Gonzalez, who has a goal on the night. Up to Hernandez, looking for Gonzalez, but it goes over to Canada. Here come the Canadians. And that will go out of play. So less than a minute left, 54.3 seconds. Ramirez. Gonzalez up forward and just gives it away. Canada will take that gladly. Rogelio Valdivia, the Cuba coach, a little frustrated there with that giveaway. Canada now. And it will stay with Canada with 42.7 left. Blah plays it in. It's Chomele with it. And Canada with possession deep in the Cuba half, but only 31.9 left. Loic. Any hat-trick magic coming from him? We'll see. Instead, it goes right into Rueda's hands. And Cuba with it, but they give it right back. And that will be a free kick for Canada. And that's also the first card of the day coming out. So that is Jonathan Hernandez receives the first yellow card of the match with just 23.3 left. So you're talking about how it's been a pretty clean affair, but here in these last few minutes, a lot more physical. Can Canada summon some magic here at the end? Right-footed shot, saved by Rueda. What a chance. Mala with the shot, Rueda with the save. 18.2 left on the clock. Canada, it's Loic. Over to Cuba, less than 10. And a giveaway there from Gonzalez. And Canada looks like they will get the final crack at it with 7.8 seconds remaining. Just a couple ticks left on the clock. Blah plays it in. 3 seconds. And it looks like this one is going to end with a share of the spoils. The final score, Cuba 5, Canada 5. So Cuba, who held the lead for a large bulk of this affair, instead they will come away with a point. Canada showing great character and twice coming back, once from a 3-goal deficit and then from a second half, a 2-goal second half deficit. Down 3-0, rallied to make it 3-3. Down 5-3, rallied to make it 5-5. And that's where this one will end, with the final score of Cuba 5 and Canada 3. Or excuse me, Cuba 5, Canada 5. It was Hernandez and Barbaro Alvarez scoring the first 3 for Cuba. That was before Safwani Mala and Monteser answered for Canada, so it was 3-2 at halftime. And then to start the second half, Kwame Loic made it 3-3 at the beginning minutes of the second period. But then quickly Martinez scored his second, and then Jorge Gonzalez made it 5-3. Before Mala scored his second and Loic scored his second to bring us to 5-5. And we'll take a look here at the full-time highlights. Just the second ever meeting between Canada and Cuba at the Concacaf Futsal Championship. Cuba were 7-4 winners in 2016 in that previous affair, and Cuba started off very strong. in this one. The first goal there for Eduardo Martinez with service from Jonathan Hernandez. And then in the blink of an eye, it was 2-0. Hernandez scoring just 41 seconds later. And then Barbaro Alvarez off a pass from Cotilla made it 3-0. And so just it took 1 minute and 21 seconds of a spurt there in the first period for Cuba to take a 3-0 lead. And they almost had another one. There was a shot from Oscar off the post. But Canada found their footing, and a shot there took a slight deflection for Milan, went into net. Make it 3-1. Then it was Monteser rifling one into the net, and it was 3-2 for Cuba going into halftime. And Canada, that momentum stayed with them. And in short order, they would find that 3-3 equalizer. Right here from Loic, splits the two defenders and rifles it into the top left corner of net. So it's 3-3, but then just 20 seconds later, Eduardo Martinez had a second of the night. Ball takes a slight deflection off of Milan, it looks, and into the net. Slimmest of angles, but it counts all the same. 4-3 to Cuba. And then a nice little give and go there between Jorge Gonzalez and Barbaro Alvarez. Cuba were fired up, leading 5-3, but back came Canada. That was the story of the night. Blah makes it 5-4 with 8:53 left. And then with 4:07 remaining, Loic brings Canada level 5-5, and that's where things would end. The final score, Cuba 5 and Canada 5.